Yeah, I was just happy.
This is Hampton Morris, the bronze medalist of the Paris Olympics. Recently, I visited Hampton at his home to train with him and talk about weightlifting.
My name is Hampton Morris. I'm a weightlifter in the 61 and 67 kilo weight classes.
My name is Trip Morris. I am Hampton Morris's father and coach.
Yes, you heard that right. Hampton is coached by his father, and as you can see, it's a pretty successful case. We had a very candid conversation with Hampton and his father, Trip, about the Olympic experience, risks, relationships, and the unique dynamic of the father being both a coach and an athlete's parent.
Just such a good feeling.
A quick reminder, Hampton does a significant part of his training in his specially equipped home gym.
Here's on the first floor there is a gym where we trained yesterday.
Man, how you do this?
I have a separate video where we train together, which you can find on the channel or view the link in the description.
So on the first floor here is the gym where we trained, and the second floor now it's a big room for the recovery. Do you sleep here?
No, I don't. When I'm using it, I will take naps in it sometimes. I've not used this since before we left for Paris, so it's been a few months. But when I am regularly using it, I'll be in it between 4 and 6 hours per week.
And he told us it's work only from 4-6 hours per week, yeah? If you're...
You need to do it at least 4 to 6
Yeah.
hours a week.
And what do you feel after this? Like, the recovery is better? Like...
Yeah, it's meant for recovery. For me personally, I feel like I'm able to have, like, my training sessions are able to be longer and more intense. Like, my energy, I can keep my energy high for longer.
Like endurance, yeah, increase endurance.
Yeah.
There is a separate place where is the 2 beds and the people can come for the camps. Ham to say that others can be friends or anybody who want to live together. They can come and train with him at the gym and to live at the same place.
Qualified for the Olympics.
TOROKHTIY. During the interview, we asked the same questions to both Hampton and Trip. The fun part, they didn't hear each other's answers. So, make yourself comfortable and enjoy watching this interview. What is it like having your father as both your coach and parent?
When it works well, it works really, really well, but it can be very hard sometimes. He has more insight into how I spend my time than anybody else would as a coach. It's like guide me, and that lets him help me and keep me accountable with how I spend my time off the platform. Benefits to it, but it's also got its downsides.
And why do you do unilateral one side?
I'd ask my dad about it.
Okay.
Yeah, so having Hamp as an athlete and being his dad is quite challenging. Just to, I guess, silo those two things. I find myself trying to push him as much as I can, but at the same time trying to be dad too. So not great at it. I will admit that. I struggle to kind of keep that father part to me and not just keep pushing and seeing the bigger goals of weightlifting.
How quickly did you realize you are Olympic medalist?
Still hasn't fully set in. Still doesn't feel like it's completely real. The entire time I spent in Paris still just kind of feels like a dream.
What does winning an Olympic bronze medal mean to you personally?
Really, it felt like all the hard work and sacrifice that my dad and I have made together really makes it feel like it's all paid off. 8-year-long journey to get to that moment. And I spent that entire time working together. Just really proud of both of us.
Can you describe the emotional intensity of this past year?
The qualification system was really, really hard. It was a lot harder on a lot of people than it was on me. Still, I was having to compete every 4 to 8 weeks. It just never had time to let my body rest. Never had time to let it settle into the body weight that it wants to be at. A lot of time without being able to rest, and really the only thing that saved me was being able to look forward to the Olympics, knowing that that was my goal.
Why did you choose to compete at the Junior Worlds right after the Olympics?
That meet I kind of did just for fun. I was really looking forward to that team of athletes on Team USA. It's just really great group of junior lifters, a lot of people that I've spent a lot of time with on other junior trips in the past. It was just a really good meet to go to.
Why did you decide to volunteer as a loader at the Junior Worlds?
I think they thought it was a joke at first, or they didn't really believe that I wanted to do it, but I'm really glad that they let me. I feel like it's really important to participate in the community and to help make these meets happen. And I feel like it's important for me personally to show that nobody's above doing that.
Oh no, we just could have placed it.
Oh, there you go. You even drew a barbell too.
Do you consider yourself as a risk taker? Why or why not?
Really, no, not really. I like feeling secure with my plans before I make any big decisions. I get the analysis paralysis.
Cool.
Not always fun. All depends.
Okay, what is this?
This is my pin collection. There are a couple just Paris ones.
What is your favorite?
I have no idea.
Okay. And why this one is separate?
In the village, they had like a game, and the main prize was this pin box with all these pins that are shown right here. And I just used the box to keep some of the pins in. It was just on an app, and it was meant to help us learn about the athlete commission, kind of build interest in that. So these are all the ones that I had before Paris.
So that's from Worlds? Or what is your plan about these pins? You will put it in the boxes or you wanna...
Yeah, I have a couple display cases, but not nearly enough for all of them. I found the official pin collecting location in Paris. These are all vintage weightlifting pins, except for the one vintage soccer pin.
Can you recall the most high-risk moment from training or competition in recent years?
To try to make sure I was prepared to compete at the Olympics, we tried to avoid any kind of risk with me. We wanted to keep me as healthy as possible so I could keep training and keep competing at the highest level I could.
So a lot of if you go, let's say L3, which is a myotomo for the quads, it actually increases the blood flow immediately. And then you've got the neural dynamics along with it. So it's really, really cool just to kind of almost clean them out pretty much. So it's really good. Our big weightlifters, it's awesome because you load it, right? So all I need to do is basically reset it and reinforce it with something, and then you guys reload it, everything goes all hunky-dory right after. So what we do for him, for me, is just try to find really areas that does that. See how, I don't know if you saw that, it just twitches like that. So that's the art of like finding that area, because that will help, that will reset the whole entire part of that VM.
So how do you feel your quads now?
Feeling a little more relaxed.
Better?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever felt that way in competition. I think he can make everything that we put on the bar in competition. But in training, there are definitely times where the dad switch pops on and I'm scared. There's a fear. Hamp doesn't have that. I try not to let him feel that, but I definitely have it. And definitely the most fearful time, and it was associated with the risk, is 182. It wasn't necessary for him to attempt it. He cleaned it, and it just got worse from there, because he kind of started doing this and dropped it and sat down. Had the same feeling when he actually made 180. I was scared. I'm over there, but try not to let that deflect to him. That's my goal.
At the final competition in Thailand, before the Olympic Games, Hampton was in 11th place after the snatch. And his first clean and jerk attempt was unsuccessful.
No way.
What thoughts were running through your mind at that point?
This is kind of Hamp's MO. He did it at the Olympics too. Misses the first one, comes back and makes the second one. He did it when he won gold in Saudi Arabia. Missed the first one, came back and made the second one. This is what Hamp does. And it's our fault. And I say our as a collective R because Piros and Mike, we recognize it. We're doing something wrong. We're not having him rest the appropriate amount of time, taking an attempt close enough. We're getting better at it. I would say nothing against Mike and Piros. We have a really good working relationship. It's actually fantastic. But there's a little bit of decision by committee that happens that maybe if it was just one of us running the show, we would be better at it. And it's really about counting. It's a matter of like probably 90 seconds that is in question. And we just, Hamp, if he sits too long on clean and jerk, he might miss the jerk.
I knew that I'd sat for a while before taking my first attempts, but I also knew that I was plenty strong enough for it. I knew that I'd already made the Olympic team officially, or unofficially, just based on how the B session had gone. My dad had sat me down a few days before the competition and told me that if we knew going into it that I'd made the team, then we would just go for something big. In training, I clean and jerk 180, so I was completely sure that I would be able to make the world record if I had it on the bar. Made the first clean and jerk, but it was called for a press out. I knew that I was strong enough to do it. Went into the second attempt just telling myself, make the clean, then stick the jerk. Just based on how making that rep felt, I knew for certain that I was going to make the last attempt the world record.
What was the atmosphere like at the Olympic Games?
Guys, we have a 3-week Olympic weightlifting program on our website. Search for TOROKHTIY free program in Google to get it absolutely free. Enjoy!
The atmosphere in the Olympic Village was incredible. I'd say that's probably one of the coolest parts of the whole experience for me. One of the most memorable things is just being there, knowing that everyone in the entire village is the best in the world at their sport. Just being surrounded by that kind of excellence, mental state. We were there for about 3 weeks before I actually competed, and my mental state in that 3 weeks was just all over the place.
Can you share a story about fans in China?
Yes, I do. After I finished celebrating with my dad and Team USA coaches, congratulate Li Fabin, and between me doing that and just how excited I was when I was on the podium, got a lot of popularity in China. Like, I went viral on their version of TikTok. I forget what the exact number was, but it's just some insane number of views, like 500 million views. Like, I just keep hearing rumors about it because I don't have any way to like get first-hand access to that. But I just keep hearing rumors about it from there's people all over the place. It's really funny.
How did the warm-up before the Olympic competition go?
The first thing was that they wouldn't let us into the warm-up area until 30 minutes before the competition started, which is not nearly enough time for me. I have like a 45-minute warm-up, and I was going to be like third person snatch. So I just started warming up out in the hall, right next to the doors. Just kind of stuck to your shoes and made them slick on the platforms. So we set up my chair right up against the platform, so I wouldn't have to walk on the carpets. On the competition platform, I didn't feel anything in my snatches, but when I took my first clean and jerk, my feet slipped about maybe a full foot in the jerk. So we did pretty much everything we could think of to fix that. I wiped off the bottom of my shoes, used rosin. But as I was setting up for my second clean and jerk, I could still feel my feet slipping. I think the rosin might have even made it worse. But when I was like walking behind the barbell to get set up, I felt that the regular wood wasn't slick, but it was the decal that was. So that was why I rolled the barbell forward to take my second attempt.
Unfortunate is what I would say. There were some unfortunate things about the Olympics. The first was the organizers don't necessarily understand what the athlete needs.
Can you describe the moment you realized you were a bronze medalist?
So I didn't know for sure that I'd medaled until after I took my last clean and jerk. I knew that I'd get a medal if I made that one. I missed it, went off the stage, just hugged my dad, and he told me that I'd won a bronze medal, and it was just such a good feeling knowing that we'd earned that together. And if you look back at the video, you can hear my celebration the exact moment that he said that to me.
Who creates Hampton's training plans?
I create all of Hamp's training plans.
My dad does all my programming.
What would need to happen for you to consider working with another coach or passing Hampton to someone else? Are there any red lines that would lead to such a decision?
Yeah, so he has given me advice on like if he gets in an accident or something and can't coach me anymore. He's given me advice on who he thinks I should go to. We've not necessarily talked about what it would take for us to split ways. He has mentioned that he will most likely not want to do another quad after the LA quad. I feel completely reasonable. He's made a lot of sacrifices for me. Made a lot of time sacrifice. It would not be fair of me to ask that of him again.
When it starts to affect our relationship, we have that discussion. And we've had it many times, because the father-son is way more important than the coach-athlete. I didn't start coaching Hamp because I wanted to be, I'll pat myself on the back. I just was named a senior international coach. That going to the Olympics was the last step for that.
Thursday's workout.
Get 20 of them into this.
Over the ball.
Is it pulls or squats?
Well, if you'd walk backward, it'd be even better. Yeah.
When you come back, go with the lunges.
Yeah, I like that idea. Can you get by him?
I'm just gonna take them this way to get to the courtyard.
What are Hampton's main technical challenges?
I don't know. So when I look at Hamp, his biggest lagging piece is the snatch. I think everybody that knows who Hamp is knows this. And I think the biggest thing that he can work on is balance in his lifting. Specifically, what I look for is where his center of gravity is and how he's using his feet to kind of balance that center of gravity. He really likes to either get behind the bar or really rock back on his heels, which in both counts results in him kind of humping the bar forward. When you're doing double bodyweight snatches, it's hard to pull that back into place, and that's been his biggest thing. There are definitely days where that's not there, but it's a struggle for him to learn it. I mentioned that I don't think technique is good or bad. It's whether you have technique that can be refined or not, and that's the way I look at it. Right now, we're getting closer to the point where he has a technique, and then we can refine it. Cleaning, I don't know. He cleans as well as anybody, in my opinion. Knows how to move the bar back into position when it gets out of position. If his butt raises too much, he knows how to fix it. I don't know if his body just knows what to do, or if it's just he's taken so many cleans, he just adjusts. So that's good. With clean and jerk, I don't want to say it's a technique thing. I think it's more of a fitness issue. When he gets fatigued, he lets that bar pull him forward, whether that's kind of rounding of the thoracic spine or whether that's letting him come up on his heels during the dip drive. That's his flaw. He just lets it pull him forward. For me, that's not a technique thing that I can address with better technique, because he can do it right when he's not fatigued. To me, that's a fitness and strength thing. So with that, my favorite thing is actually the flywheel and Zercher squats. It's weird. People probably think I'm crazy because we do it, but it's hard to argue with Hamp's results. And then just frankly front squatting heavy and then backing off for competitions the right way so that he's not fatigued, but he's got enough fitness still that he can compete.
I have a hard time with power production, and we're really feeling that in the snatch. That's one of the big things that we're working on, doing a lot of like plyometrics, a lot of jumping. I know I have a problem with rushing off the ground. More patient off the ground, I'm able to keep my positions well through the first pull specifically, which just sets me up really well for the rest of the lift. And this isn't snatch. I don't have many problems with clean and jerk. It's definitely my strength. If I miss a clean and jerk, it's either just a mental thing in the clean, like just my body deciding that it does not want to get under that kind of weight, or it's just losing my position in the jerk.
Bombing out in the snatch at the 2023 Worlds in Saudi Arabia.
No lift, Morris.
Was it a technical or mental error?
Probably a little of all three. Like, I was definitely good to make those reps on the day. Yeah, I think it was the third one I actually did make, but it got called for a press out. And looking back at the video, we should have challenged it, but I mean, who's to say that it would have been overturned anyways? I mean, we knew that my snatch is my weaker lift. Mentally, I probably could have fought a little harder, probably could have forced myself to make the rep or something. Really, it was just a bad snatch day.
With your current body weight, how much do you aim to lift in the next year?
Just like to keep pushing the numbers as hard as I can. Right now, I'm doing a lot of like strength building stuff. Just trying to build a solid base at this body weight. I don't want to get too attached to any particular numbers. I snatch in the mid 120s and I want to be snatching in the 140s in competition. Don't want to get too attached to any numbers.
What is your dream as an athlete?
I'd say I probably have 3 more Olympics in me, maybe 4. Really, I'd just like to go as far as I can with the sport.
Who is your idol in the sport?
That's always a hard question for me. I don't know why. I mean, there's a lot of people that I remember watching compete, was first getting into the sport at like a competitive level. That first youth nationals, I got pictures with Hampton Morris and Matty Rogers. I met Piros at that first nationals, which was really cool. Now he and I are kind of buddies. We always see each other at the international meets. He's very, very supportive. Weightlifting legends that I've competed against, in Paris, you know. Lee Fabin, Ekirwan, Chen Lijun competed in Thailand as a 61. You know, all these people that are in the same weight class as me that are just so incredible to watch. I don't know, there's just a lot. There's a lot of people.
Perfect. What is Hampton's ideal weight category in your opinion?
If we could wave a magic wand and select 65 or maybe even 66, we would do it. His biggest lifts have come at, let's say, 64 and a half. I mean, they've been big lifts, real big lifts. I think he would be hard to compete with at 65 or 66.
If he maintains his current, on that day, body weight, how much do you plan for him to lift within the next year?
I don't play that game in my head. We're 1 kilo at a time kind of approach. What I would like to see is maybe a return to hitting some PRs as we go, particularly on snatch. But first we got to start hitting in the 30s again. But in a year, if he stays in the 61, 67 category, I mean, I would like to see him snatch 136, 137 in a year. That would be good. In competition, probably 130, 132 would be really, really good. I'd be really happy with that. I think he'd be really, especially if Fabian retires, which I think he might have. He's going to be hard to compete with. If he can snatch 128, I don't know if anybody can beat him.
I hope you found this interesting, because I was absolutely amazed by these two men, whose joint efforts bring us such incredible emotions in the world of weightlifting.
I want to say one more time, thank you so much for these 2 days.
Yeah, I'm really glad you got came.
For training session, for current session. A lot of new things I know, like I get from you. So anytime if we will need to be my help from my side, any help from my side, please. Always.
Thank you.
Thank you.
TOROKHTIY.